Hi everyone, I'm Ryanne Cunningham. Today's tutorial is going to be on pigeon pose, and I'm going to actually instruct multiple variations, but mostly I'm going to lead you into the Yoga for Athletes version of pigeon pose. Definitely one of my favorite poses. So what I'm going to have you guys do is definitely have a light blue block ready. Some of you are going to need it, some of you are not. So just have it nearby, just in case. And we're going to start out in our downward facing dog. Okay, so once you're in your down dog, take your right leg, sweep it up, bend the right knee and open up that hip. Take your right knee forward behind the right wrist. Now, for those that might have maybe any knee conditions, your right knee is actually going to go into the middle of the mat, and you're going to have a less of an intense stretch in that right hip. Otherwise, if that's not going to work for you, just kind of hang out in the figure four like this and just work on stretching out your hip this way. Just makes it a lot easier on the knee. All right, so in our pigeon pose, your back leg, left leg, with your chest tall, make sure your left leg is directly behind the left hip and the left foot is flat, especially the pinky toe pressing down into the mat. Now, lift your hips up a little bit so you can square your hips up. So you're taking your right hip back, pulling your left thigh forward, keep your belly lifted, sternum tall. So you want to be able to have your chest tall and then allow yourself to sink a little bit deeper into the stretch right here. Now this is all right hip area, right glute and hip area. So if you've been to my classes, I actually don't instruct a block underneath this right hip, because what I believe what that does, it leads you to lean to the right and rest a little bit onto the right, which creates an external rotation in this back hip. So you're really not fully allowing your body to square your hips up fully. So you want to be able to find that lift up, square those hips up, feel the pinky toe, that back foot down, and then allow your hips to settle in towards the mat a little bit deeper. Okay, now in this pose, I'm going to show you with my right leg, but it's going to be your left leg. Now what you want to do with this pose is be able to take your right knee to the right. So I'm actually going to switch legs really quick. You want to take your right knee to the right edge of the mat. So be able to take it as far off to the right as you can, just like this. All right, so if there's any discomfort in this knee, bring this knee back in towards the middle of the mat again. Okay, so as you're doing that, as you're taking that right knee off to the right edge of your mat, back leg, walk it back, walk it back. So still that back leg is behind your hip, not off to the left. And if you have a little extra space, this front knee, walk it to the right. Back leg, back. All right, so it's not that you're going to force the right foot forward to allow the shin bone to be parallel to the top of the mat. You can ease your body into it with sliding the right knee to the right, walking that back leg back, lift the hips up, square the hips up, and settle in nice and deep. Then, once you're in at this point, slowly start to walk your hands forward down to the forearms. Now we want to maintain a long spine. So look forward, shoulders back, hips squared up, sinking down. If you have a little extra space, take the elbows, walk the elbows mat width apart. Keep that gaze forward. Start to lower your chest down towards the floor. And then this is where, for some people, while we're in this pose, maybe you're like, I'm feeling a deep, intense stretch. I don't think I can go any further. No big deal. You can take the block, tall, rest your chin on the block, maybe forehead on the block. Okay, 3 levels to the block. Otherwise, stack 2 fists or stack 2 hands. Lower your chin down. It's all about trying to get the chest to the floor first with your gaze forward. When we look underneath us, when we do this, you're gonna see my back lift. My upper back is going to round up. When my upper back rounds up, my hips lift up. So I'm taking myself out of the pose. It's all about the length of the spine. Gaze forward, elbows wide, ease into the stretch. Now, if you're at that point where your chest is touching your right foot or touching the floor, then extend the arms out overhead, chin down. Good. And once you're at that point, hold for maybe 5 to 10 breaths. Then walk your hands back, curl your toes under, and step back to a down dog. Might have to shake that out a little bit. Shake that right leg out, move the hips, however you need to. But that's pigeon pose. So I appreciate you taking the time to learn the breakdown of pigeon pose. Namaste.